So who is Mud Bay? Here's our mission, to contribute to the health of dogs and cats and the happiness of those who care for them as we build a strong company that we're proud of. As we mentioned in the opening slide, we are an employee-owned company. We became employee-owned in 2015 through our ESOP program. And today we've got about 7 or 8% of the company that is employee-owned. And our goal for Mud Bay is to keep it employee-owned for forever, for the next 35 years that we're in business or longer. So our values, these are all really important things that every Muddy is thinking about when they're taking care of our customers, and definitely things that play into our vision of sustainability, both in the way we treat our customers and the way we do business with our partners. We are looking to build long-term sustainable relationships. Next slide, please. We refer to all of those things together as the Mud Bay experience, or as Muddies call it, the MBX. And you can see these are some very specific things that we try to make sure shopping with Mud Bay embody every single day. In addition, now as we're becoming a more experiential retailer and starting to reach outside the store, we're doing deliveries and we're doing grooming, we're doing all these other things. These Mud Bay experiences are also expanding their meaning to be able to include those items as well. But it really is, as I think it is for a lot of retailers in the independent retail space, we don't do a lot of marketing. We don't do a lot of commercials. We're not master marketers in that respect. Our marketing is the Mud Bay experience. We grow our business and grow our relationship with customers by absolutely knocking their socks off, being really well educated, and helping them with solutions to the everyday problems that they need. Next slide. This is probably for all of the manufacturers on this call today who are in this business, healthy, although it's a completely overused word in our industry, is what the business is really all about. And we pride ourselves in really understanding exactly what that means and what it means to us and how it keeps evolving in the industry and what the next level of healthy is. For some of our existing food manufacturers, you could probably all commiserate or praise around the new standards we've put in place around pet food certification. And we're trying to grow those all the time to make sure that when we talk to customers and we tell them just how fantastic our manufacturing partners are and just how great their pet foods are, that we really have everything we need to back that up and can really look them directly in the eye and say, no, we've been to this plant, here's the certification, this is how they make sure that your food is safe and quality made foods. We also have an on-staff veterinarian, Dr. Katie, and she helps Brian in all the food reviews and all the category managers on all the products that we buy to ensure that they're meeting our high standards. Next slide. So one of the unique things about Mud Bay, we don't do promotions. I know that in a world of constant promotion, that's strange, but we really have found that we want to take all that energy that a lot of retailers put into driving their promotional engine and put that back into how we educate our Muddies, how we talk to customers and give them the tools to make the proper decision for their pet, and how we create fun, within the store and a fun shopping experience. If you think about how much time and energy goes to organizing promotions, setting up promotions, controlling inventory for promotions, dollars spent by manufacturers on promotions, this is an entire quadrant that we aim back at the customer, and for more than 30 years, it's been very successful. Next slide, please. Community. Gracious, we talked a little bit about earlier, but I would just say this is where we really shine. The staff members, Muddies, that you see in this photo are just a great example of what makes Mud Bay Mud Bay. I mean, we're very proud of ourselves, our product selection, all the things we talk about, but there's nothing like a year like 2020 to really remind you that everything is all about our people in stores, helping customers in the most difficult of times, and doing it, you know, with a smile on their face. And it's really been amazing to see that at the heart of our business. We do have a very consistently varied, which is a term for, well, consistently varied, meaning that no two stores are alike for us in shape or size. We obviously do have selling aids and some similar art and pictures and things like that, but we empower staff a lot to self-educate with chalkboards in the store and art. And a lot of this not only creates a really great experience for the customer, but it also really engages staff and gets them to dig into the content and make sure that they understand, you know, what they're putting up in their in-store marketing. Next, please. As I mentioned earlier, we are an ESOP. We are now, you know, about 550 employees. This picture was taken a couple of years ago in Olympia. We shut down all of our stores every year for a day, and we celebrate together at an event called Mudstock, where we bring the entire company together, and half of the day is a company meeting, and we talk about the future and our plans, and we get feedback from Muddies and talk about where we want to go and take the company. And the other half of the day is a partner fair, where we invite all of our existing manufacturer partners to come set up booths, showcase product, both product that we currently have that they can educate on, and any new products that they want to bring. And we actually allow our staff members to vote on new products they'd like to see us bring in. It's a really fun day of celebration. We weren't able to do it in 2020, unfortunately, but fingers crossed, we'll have it again in 2021. We also, the other piece of community that's really close to our heart is partnering with animal welfare. And so these are just a few examples of things we have done over the years to help organize giving and funds for animal welfare. The Foodie Festival, we're very, very, very proud of. That's an event that we hold in both Portland Market and the Seattle Market annually to honor those who volunteer at animal shelters. And it's just turned into this amazing thing that we really enjoy doing. Next page. I think Cherish.
Back to me. Thanks, Al. A few years ago, an internal committee was formed at Mud Bay to address diversity, equity, and inclusion. It was a way of us furthering our commitment to making improvements in the way we support Muddies and the communities where we live and do business in. We've also sponsored many pride parades over the years, and many Muddies have participated in the parades. Next slide. Environmental stewardship has become more of a focus for Mud Bay over the last few years. In 2020, we transitioned all of our point-of-sale bags from a reusable plastic bag to 95% post-consumer waste paper. Although our plastic bags were certified to be reused up to 125 uses, we estimate that when they eventually ended up in a landfill, they contributed over 28,000 pounds of waste to landfills in Oregon and Washington last year. So we're very proud to have made the transition to paper. Additionally, we are in the process of transitioning our cat and dog treat sample bags from plastic to paper. And although these bags are tiny, we handed out 1.7 million of them last year, resulting in over 2,500 pounds of plastic waste. We are now in the process of transitioning to glassine, which is paper. It's pressed paper, so it's biodegradable and compostable. And we should have the transition complete by the end of the year. Next slide. In August, we joined the Pet Sustainability Coalition's Flex Forward program and have 24 Mud Bay stores participating in recycling packaging, so pet food and treat packaging. Our stores are collecting it. It's still very early on in the program, so I'm not sure that we've returned any quite yet, but it's been a huge focus for our teams. It's actually one of the biggest questions we've been asked from staff and customers over the years is how can we recycle this packaging? Is it recyclable? And it's been kind of a difficult conversation to navigate when food safety plays an element in the fact that the packaging material has to meet certain standards, and often those standards require layers of packaging or layers of plastic that are not easy to extract and recycle. So we're really proud to be part of this experiment. And we have a lot of enthusiasm in the stores who are participating for it. And so here's some chalkboard art. We essentially just put out the message, if you have time, because staff have a lot going on these days, but if you have time, please create some chalkboard art around this program. And this is what our staff have put together. This is also another element of us showcasing consistently varied within our stores. Next slide. This summer, 2 passionate Muddies formed an internal sustainability group whose mission is to do a deeper dive into environmental topics surrounding packaging, sourcing, and our waste stream. Although the group is very new, members have already participated in testing out the new treat sample bags and will help inform future environmental sustainability projects. Next slide. So one of our favorite topics around Mud Bay is none other than poop. And another exciting advancement we made this summer was the purchase of Green Pet, a pet waste composting company based in Washington. A few years ago, after being asked the proverbial question over and over and over, what type of plastic is best for poop bags, which I know many of you are familiar with, I decided to do a deep dive into the question. We all want to make the right decision for the environment, but this one is complicated. Not only must we consider plastic waste when making our decision, we must also consider the impact on the environment, water quality in particular, if pet waste is not properly contained. In fact, a recent study in Seattle found that 20% of bacteria found in our water could be traced back to dogs. So I reached out to some local water quality experts and learned of the Green Pet Company, one of just a few pet waste composting companies in the United States. We were intrigued by the process and took a tour of their facility, which is located less than an hour from our office. It was clear that the business was full of potential, but that the founders were looking to retire. So we decided to purchase the company and explore how we could reduce the millions of pounds of pet waste dumped in Oregon and Washington landfills each year. We are looking forward to expanding the business throughout Western Oregon and Washington and reducing our collective impact. Next slide, back to Al.
So, I touched on it a little bit earlier about our approach to sustainability when it comes to long-term relationships with our business partners and wanting to build businesses not only for ourselves, but with our manufacturing and distributing partners that are truly sustainable in all senses of the word. It's been wonderful partnering with PSC to expand our knowledge on this. They're really putting out great materials. I know many of you have seen them that are great mentoring style tools to help us think about this even more. Although we've had a general approach to this sort of mutually beneficial, sustainable relationship with our partners for a long time, really putting it into action in new ways is very exciting for us and going to be a focus for us this year and for many years to come. It's taking on all sorts of new meanings. In today's world, the events of 2020, we want to know, and our customers want to know, and our Muddies want to know way more about our manufacturing partners than ever before. Just having a great solution to an everyday pet problem is only one piece of the puzzle. We'd like to understand more about the values of the people we do business with, their approach to diversity, equity, inclusion, and to know that they are creating jobs and an environment that are good for their communities in the same way that we are. Next slide, please. So I think one of the things that we get asked a lot are what things do manufacturers want, or what things does Mud Bay want to see from our manufacturers, or how can I as a manufacturer do a better job of supporting Mud Bay? And we talk to a lot of our other peers around the nation, and the list that we sort of assembled here, is something that I think if manufacturers do will benefit the entire independent pet space. And number one is don't just be a marketer, know the category and continue to innovate. There's lots of great ideas out there, but make sure that you are spending dollars and energy on the expertise that is behind your product, and on also making sure people know about that expertise. Create content that tells your story and highlights differentiation and your differential. There is a lot more than just the written word out there. Videos are becoming a big part of everyone's marketing efforts. Make sure that the things that truly make your product unique, you have in an entire suite of ways for retailers to use. Make sure your staffing includes experts in animal health and nutrition. We touched on that a bit. Make independent-only brands a dedicated portion of your business. We have seen a lot of brands grow and mature and grow into different channels as their business expands. And we know that's a natural part of the business cycle. And we don't have any issue with that. What we ask is that manufacturers think about a diversified type of portfolio that allows at least some portion of the products you make and manufacture to continue to be exclusive to independent, and not just exclusive that they're not sold other places, but also have features and benefits that are exclusive to our channel. What our channel does well, what the independent retailers of the United States do really well, is solve problems for customers and sell complicated knowledge, help communicate complicated knowledge to consumers. And if your product is one that lends itself to that, where it's a little more complicated, or it's a more difficult solution, or there's something about your product that's very unique that has to be explained, that's where the independent channel can really help grow your business. Publish and enforce MAP and MRP. This has gotten a lot of attention in the last few years as the growth of online retail has exploded. The good news is, most of the independent retailers in the U.S. are now doing some sort of e-commerce, and it's growing every single day. To be able to give a legitimate pathway for all the products in this channel to get to customers without having to enter a store. But for all that to work, we do need to make sure that MRP and MAP are policed. Develop retails with independent retail margin requirements in mind. Every retailer has their own requirements, and you can speak to them to get an understanding of what those are. But it's really important to know that the staffing levels independent stores have, that Mud Bay has, the type of education we give to our staff. Every Muddy goes through 6 weeks worth of dedicated training and 6 months or a year of ongoing training. And that takes money. That takes additional margins. So making sure that the margins for this channel are in place. Invest in digital marketing. We need your help. The getting people onboarded to different ideas, different concepts, introduced to branding, all those sort of pieces are things we try to do. And we're growing our marketing team, all the time, and the ways we are marketing to our customers outside of the store. But any help that you can give in sending those consumers in with an idea is tremendously helpful. Ask trusted retail partners for feedback. I think that's the biggest thing is, Continue to ask questions. Continue to ask your trusted retail partners what the trends are, what's going on, what you can get help with. And invest in training and education.
So ultimately, we are looking for partners who do behave like us, always looking for ways to continuously improve, whether it's reducing packaging, improving quality of ingredients, or creating greater diversity within their organization. We are seeking partners that create safe, well-formulated, thoughtfully packaged and sourced products for cats and dogs that are made by people who are being treated with respect by their employers. Our relationships do require these three key elements: transparency, knowledge, and shared values. The shared values element is of high importance to us as we see partners who approach making difficult decisions in the same manner we do, with knowledge and transparency. We will be expanding upon the questions we ask of our partners, seeking to learn more about what each company is doing to address environmental stewardship and diversity within their organization. Next slide. So in summary, sustainability at Mud Bay is defined by our longtime partnerships with our Muddies, customers, community, manufacturing partners, and the beautiful playground we call home. If you'd like to work with us, feel free to reach out to the email addresses listed. Food is strictly just a full formula food category, so treats are actually considered supplies at Mud Bay. But if you have a cat or dog supply or food that you'd like to introduce to us, please send us an email. And then I manage the private label Mud Bay brands portion of the business. And if you do private label business, please reach out to me if you have manufacturing opportunities. Thank you so much for inviting us to participate, to be your guinea pigs in the first in the Meet the Buyer series. We really appreciate the continuing relationship we have with the Pet Sustainability organization and members.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Cherish and Al. This is just wonderful, and we are excited. I see that there's some questions that came in. We'll get to those shortly. So let me switch slides. Okay. All right, so we're going to get ready for our next portion of the event, and that is with our companies that will be pitching today. So the first one that will be up is Bark Potty. So if Dale, if you want to come on with your screen video, I'll introduce you.
Hello.
Oh, perfect. There you are. Okay. All right. Wonderful. So what happens in this next round, which will be really fun, is we're going to hear from 3 of our top 20 accredited companies, and they achieved this status through performing and showing strong performance on a third-party assessment. So what this happened is they provided documentation for some of their answers, and they demonstrated annual improvement year over year for our returning companies. And in these 2-minute pitches to the Mud Bay team, they will cover everything from the sustainability and how it's their differentiator, different focuses that they have, including product development and operations, and as well as their product and how it incorporates the values of positive impact. So with that, I'm going to hand it over to Dale, and you have 2 minutes, and I'll come back on with my 30-second reminder when we're ready to go.
Okay. I can be a fast talker when I'm nervous, so maybe I won't need 2 minutes. So my name is Dale Wilkerson. I'm from Bark Potty. We're based in Los Angeles. And, you know, basically a little bit about the company. We're a truly small company, truly independent company. Bark Potty was invented by a husband and wife team. And Natalie Yoon, the wife, still runs the business and owns it today. The seed was about 10 years ago. You know, you used the term busy professionals. They were a couple that were very busy. They had 2 dogs. They were using pee pads. They were kind of horrified at how many they were using, and they started looking for other opportunities for more eco-friendly options. And so they actually started a business called Doggy Lawn over 10 years ago, which is a grass option. And Bark Potty was born later out of all the pain points of that business. And it's meant to be the shelf-stable, non-perishable, wholesale, independent pet version and option, because a lot of retailers wanted to carry the grass, but of course they couldn't. And so in its current form, it's been around since the end of 2018 in the size and shape. There was kind of a beta test version that we did, and we took feedback from retailers and changed some things about the product and then relaunched it. But basically, Bark Potty is an eco-friendly, all-natural, multi-use pee pad, mainly for dogs. We do get comments from customers that their cats use it and things like that, but it is 100% real bark. It absorbs urine, it controls odors, and replaces up to 60 traditional pads. It's recyclable, compostable, made in the US. And the wood that we use, we don't cut down trees for it, of course. It's a byproduct that comes from wood manufacturing in the Pacific Northwest from a environmentally certified redwood and Douglas fir lumber company. And we're, of course, a member of the PSC and 1% for the planet. We donate 1% of our sales to One Tree Planted to kind of bring everything full circle. And, you know, we're just very focused on making Bark Potty the most eco-friendly waste management option on the market. So we'll continue to develop it and change it and grow it as we grow.
Great. That was it. You right under. Good job.
Okay.
So I'm curious if any members of the Mud Bay team, do you have some questions for Dale?
Is that a mesh over the top of the bark?
It is. It's a simple aviary netting, and it's really there for kicking. If the dog, you know, uses the bathroom and then they like to kick, so it doesn't spray bark everywhere.
I have.
Oh, this is Cherish, sorry. Just my question is, do you have a video of this in use, maybe on your website or something you could send us? I'd love to see.
Absolutely, we do. So if you go to barkpotty.com right now and you scroll down, we do have a video. We have several videos. We have 1 or 2 people that work on marketing. They do a great job. We also have training videos as well that were made by professional dog trainers. And we have marketing for the stores too that are little frames that you put on your counter that plays the video. So it's a really cute video of all these dogs peeing, but it definitely gets people's attention. And we found that once you do that, have them stop for just a second and say, what is this? This is so cute. Or think about it for a moment. It really starts clicking with the customer.
Wow.
So we can definitely send it. Yeah.
Great. If no one else has, I just have one last question for you. One criteria that I wanted to learn more about is, you know, how do you see sustainability improving your business returns?
Well, I mean, it already has. So, you know, again, we're not a big company. This was a husband and wife team, and Natalie, you know, has spearheaded it, as you know, and it was meant to be an eco-friendly option, but we didn't start off with trying to make it the most eco-friendly option. But, you know, getting to know the PSC in the last year and all the different things that we're learning and changing about the product, we're finding that we're being brought into this community similar to what Mud Bay is looking for and expecting. And so I think it's this kind of, it's opening doors for us as far as if we're doing these things, you know, making these changes, making it, you know, better and better every chance that we can, it's going to open more doors. And, you know, sustainability is probably the #1 issue, especially when it comes to waste management for dogs. And so if we can continue to challenge ourselves, I keep looking at the little green bag on the screen. Those were not compostable poop bags. We now have compostable poop bags. They're launching in November. So, you know, there's little things like that we keep continuing to try to innovate and change. And so with those little details, we always have something new to talk about and a way to make it better. And it's just giving us more opportunities, because the customers who are interested in this product are really challenging too. They want to know the answers. They have questions, and they actually educate us sometimes too. So it's just been great, you know, because people see that, they're interested in eco-friendly options, and it just kind of snowballs on itself. So and just this opportunity today is a perfect example of that.
Excellent. Well, thank you.
Hey, Sarah, we have a question in the chat box. For Dale, would you like me to ask it?
Yes, that would be great.
All right. So Dale, the question from the audience today is, how many uses are possible per pad?
So we estimate it replaces 60 or more traditional pads. And we estimate monthly as well, but that's more for the customer, so they can kind of say, okay, this is how much it costs. I use it once a month. Many times it goes longer than that. But if you think about, you know, using 2 pads a day, if you do use them, you're for whatever reason, that kind of equals out to 60 a month. And so if you take just one Bark Potty, and I kind of feel like that's a low number, and times that by, you know, however many thousands of customers you have per month, per year, that's how many pieces of, you know, traditional pads that you're keeping out of landfills. But we estimate 60 or more.
Great. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Let's move on to choose happiness.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Sarah, and thank you everyone for having us. First of all, I want to say that regardless of whether we end up partnering with Mud Bay, I love the company based on what I've seen. I started this company a number of years back with exactly the same philosophy and exactly the same requirements. And it's Choose Happiness. So I'm Tavor White, and CEO and founder of Choose Happiness. We are a social enterprise as much as we are a business. We support Indigenous farmers and herders, in addition to bringing amazing eco-friendly, what I call creations to America's dogs. Sustainability has always been at the forefront of our product development efforts, and as well as our operations. We partner with Bhutan, which is the only carbon negative country on the planet. We also offset 100% of our carbon that we do generate. And one of my premier products that I'm very happy about, very proud of, is this, our Barcaron, which is our macaron for dogs, our decadent doggy desserts. They're functional foods as well. Each one has a functional health benefit, but what I really want to talk about right now is this package. There's no plastic in here. It has a beautiful poem. This is handmade paper made by a group of women in India. It's like a box of chocolates for dogs, and it has a soy-based wax here. So it's actually biodegradable. We're actually about to get approved for the USDA Bio-Preferred program for this package. So everything we do is eco-friendly, sustainable, as well as we give back to animal rescue. And in terms of DEI, well, we're a tiny company. I am the only employee. We are employee owned, but we do our best, especially with the Indigenous farmers and herders whom we support.
Great, thank you. That was even faster.
Okay.
All right, so again, I want to open it up to the Mud Bay team. What questions do you have?
Hi, this is Cherish again. Yeah, super impressive that you've managed to work with a country that is carbon negative.
Yes.
Can you describe more about the partnerships with the Indigenous farmers and herders?
Sure. And by the way, I think Al indicated that you visit your manufacturing partners' plants. I welcome you to our Happiness Bakery in the Himalayas up in Bhutan. But anyway, I'll get this flavor here, this variety here that you see in front of you is our superfood blend with lots of organic berries and pomegranate. And notice the second major ingredient, camel cheese. Yes, camel cheese. I have personally camped out with the camel herders in the Gobi Desert. This is an area of the world which is rapidly being affected adversely by global warming, major droughts. The countryside of Mongolia is moving to the one major city, which is Ulaanbaatar, which is the capital, causing all sorts of environmental degradation around and in the capital. It's one of the most polluted places on the planet, the capital is, during the winter, because everybody burns wood to try to stay warm in the Mongolian winter. So what we're trying to do is support these indigenous farmers and herders. They're all the way out in the Gobi Desert. If they have an extra source of income, they actually are able to maintain their traditional low carbon footprint lifestyle and keep away from having to move into the city and into poverty. So it's it's an example of one of our projects, but we have yak herders in Bhutan. We have dairy herders, dairy farmers in Bhutan as well, chicken farmers in Bhutan. And all of these people, we have a cooperative of women growing turmeric up in the mountains in Bhutan. So all of these are ingredients that we use. And because of the amazing ingredients, we have these great functional foods as well. So in terms of health, we also have a veterinarian on our, that's helping us. At least in terms of approving these treats, Dr. Tom Kramer. And I personally have, as I said, camped out with the herders. They've been gracious in explaining their process, and we've been able to take these natural ingredients and make sure they're safe. We spend a small fortune on lab tests to make sure that they don't have pathogens, they don't have microbes, and heavy metals, etc. We run a full panel of probably any more than anyone in the industry in terms of pesticides. It's clean, 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 to ensure that we're bringing a safe product for America's dogs.
Thank you. I want to come visit in Bhutan as well.
You're welcome to visit our artisanal happiness kitchen.
Yeah. Well, thank you. Let's move on to PolkaDog Treats.
All right. Hi, thanks Sarah and Pet Sustainability, and thanks Mud Bay. I'm Deb I'm a founder of PolkaDog in Boston. So when we develop a product, we often look to our community of suppliers and partners for inspiration. We look to see what's being made or caught locally, and if there are parts of the fish or animal that are healthy and tasty for dogs and cats, but not as appealing to humans. Our codskins are an example. Our codskins started with me working with a local Boston fish processor who made fillets that sold to restaurants and grocery stores. The cod fillets are sold skinless, and the processor was throwing the skins in the trash. We saw an opportunity to make our own very healthy treat for dogs and cats, and at the same time help utilize the whole fish. Another example is our clam chowder treats. We work with a local clam processor. While equally nutritious, they can't use the darker part of the clam meat in the clam chowder they make for people because people want a pure white clam chowder. We utilize the darker clam meat in our clam chowder sticks for dogs. Beyond just our ingredients, we see these relationships with our suppliers as partnerships and part of our community. In the same way, we see our relationships with our employees as part of our community and our customers and retailers as part of our community. Part of the importance of having a more inclusive community for me has been allowing some space to step off the platform, and at the same time reorganizing that part and recognizing the part of the reason I have a platform is because I come from a place of privilege. To find something that is sustainable, you need to listen to other voices. At work, we had a third-party organization come in, JVS, and they performed a workplace needs analysis of our business. They interviewed and assessed our employees and asked them their level of satisfaction with their jobs and what they would find beneficial in the workplace. The majority of our ESL staff responded that they would like to have English classes. So we, together with JVS, organized for English classes for those who requested it, and the classes became part of their regular workday. It was important to hear from our staff what they wanted instead of making the decision on our own. More listening has been important for us as business owners, especially this year as we even more fully recognize our own privilege and shortcomings.
Thank you, Deb. Mud Bay, do we have any questions for Deb?
Hey, Deb, Cherish. Yeah, that's very cool. I like that you really considered the needs of your staff and offering the English classes. And I wonder, have you seen kind of a longer term retention forming as a result?
So it's really soon. I can say that we do have a very long-term retention with our staff. We've been growing considerably over the years, but we have staff that's been with us for 6 to 8 years. But we've been growing and adding more staff. What we have heard from our staff is that they're really happy with the classes. It's created, I feel, talking with our staff, that it creates a happier, a better work environment.
That's great. That's very cool. And my other question is, in terms of finding material, protein sources that were getting discarded or were underutilized?
Yep.
How did you approach the companies that you went to work with, the processors? Did you just go and have this open conversation about looking for this type of material, or was it something broad?
Through different methods. We've worked with the Department of Agriculture locally in Massachusetts. I have a contact there, and we've talked with them to a rep from NOAA. So we talk about sustainable levels of fish locally with NOAA, and then we also we have relationships with the processors, so we can, not just locally, but around on the West Coast too, in the Pacific Northwest, we have good connections there, and just different partners that we have, whether it's fishermen or small farms that are local to us, that are doing good things, sustainable things already, especially. Those are kind of the partners that we like to partner with. And then we might work with, for example, we have a small farm group. They're kind of a distributor, farm share, and we work with them locally in New England. Like they have partnerships with farms in New England and New York, and so they were cutting all these types of. They're doing different, parts of the cow or parts of the chicken, but they didn't have a home for the organ meats. And so it's a way for us to work locally with small farms in New England and New York that were cutting all these different parts of meat, but they didn't necessarily have like a home yet for organ meats that was local.
Awesome, nice job.
With that, it is a wrap. Thank you, Deb, for sharing all of that. And thank you to both Bark Potty and Choose Happiness. We loved hearing your pitches. I know for me, though we've worked together and gone through the assessments, I've learned so much in the past 20 minutes. So thank you. And before we move into the Q&A, I just want to take a brief moment and say, if you are a company that is not yet involved with PSC, there are a couple different ways that you can take action. I personally am the accreditation manager, so I would love to connect with you about how you can become accredited and showcase your positive impact and focus on brand building as well as celebrating all the hard work that you're up to. And then we also have membership, which is where you can really focus in on improving the impact of your business. And thank you to Pets Plus for sponsoring the Meet the Buyer series. We will announce the upcoming dates shortly for the rest of our events, and we hope that we'll see you there at that time. So with that, let's move into questions. And I'm going to pull up the Q&A. It looks like Caitlin has been monitoring and answering all of the great questions. Let's see. In the chat. One question that I had while you were talking, Cherish, I was just curious if you could talk to us more, what was it called, how your stores are consistently varied with that concept. For manufacturers and brands, you laid out so nicely the different requirements and ideals that you have for them. How does that play into your methodology for the consistently varied stores?
Sorry, can you, I may not understand fully your question.
I'm just curious in terms of also, oh my gosh, you sound like an alien in the best way. It's all good. I was just curious in terms of if manufacturers are looking to get into different types of your stores and thinking about the individuality of your, that you allow for each store to have. Is there any recommendations that you have for them to make sure that they fit into the Mud Bay culture of that individuality?
Yeah, we are individually, I know Cherish is breaking up a little, so I'll jump in.
Thanks. So.
But we, although I think there might be two questions here, I'm not sure which one. Our sets are standardized. So we have a larger store and smaller size sets, but the home office buying team does distinguish, the products in stores. So manufacturers aren't selling to individual stores; they're still selling to the home office, and decisions are being made there with feedback from staff. As far as the individuality of stores, I think that clear packaging is still really important. Although you want to have something that is unique looking, identifies the features and benefits of the product, and is upscale looking, being able to tell exactly what's in the package and what they're getting is still a really important part of packaging when you are designing those things. We have the benefit in our stores of one of the things that has made it successful over the years is a very limited assortment. So where other stores might have 5,000 or 10,000 items, we only have about 3,200 items in our stores and we separate those into categories that are very specific: treat, skin and coat health. And when we merchandise them, we don't need 500 items on that skin and coat table. We take the 50 items that really make sense. So your product is going to get natural call out. What's important is that as they pick it up, it communicates clearly what's in the bag and the features and benefits.
Great, thank you, Al. You understood my two questions. Well, with that, it's noon, Mountain Standard Time. So I want to thank you all for coming. And if you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to me. I will send the deck out to those that registered, so you can reference that for the future. And we hope to see you at our next Meet the Buyer series. So thank you so much.
Thanks. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.